Let's go ahead and introduce our first player here on the first game taking place on 2,000 atmospheres. First up, he's our blue Protoss, playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Classic. And spawning here at the bottom left, we have our red Terran player playing for Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream. Alright, so of course Classic just only a couple months ago returning back into StarCraft 2 professional play, as he came back officially on the start of August. And so he's been playing a lot, participating in many events. Have been able to see him play a good number of times, and it seems like he's in pretty decent form considering, you know, he's only came back a couple months ago. Of course, in StarCraft 2, it feels like you really need to get like maybe a couple months to a year under your belt before you really see all your results come through, because I don't know, it feels like one of those games where, like, if you are gone for quite some time, it actually takes quite a long time to get back into the swing of things and get your rhythm, get your strategy in order. And I think Classic is going through that phase where he is trying to still figure things out. Now, one of the players, of course, in this Group B is Beyond, which also kind of went through the same thing as Classic is going through right now, where he came back from the military and came back right into the pro scene. Now, Beyond, on the other hand, he actually got some nice, decent result. I mean, I believe he won Chisadelphia a couple months. He won Aces Rog as well shortly after coming back. So he had some nice, good results shortly coming back from the military. And I think Classic wants to replicate that same success that Beyond had. But of course, it's really, really difficult. We do have a lot of great players in the scene that's currently in the Korean scene, at least. But anyhow, we do see the first two adepts arriving, actually taking a nice, decent chunk of Marines, and now one Marine is left over while two adepts are still alive. That one adept is so close to death, only surviving on 8 life, now 4 life. And this is a little bit troublesome here for Dream, getting his natural denied in terms of mining, and so gotta wait for just a couple more units. We'll see if Classic sends over more units. It looks like he will, actually continuously making these adepts. So, and look at there on the production tab, this is not what you see like a lot of or commonly as of now in terms of the meta. You don't usually see a Dark Shrine. And I am loving this, because right now Dream is like completely distracted with these adepts. So his mind is probably not even thinking about DTs. He's probably thinking about maybe oracles or something. And looks like we don't have an engineering bay, but the good thing is that there is a tech lab on that starport, so Ravens can be made, and it looks like he will go ahead and make that first Raven. So a little bit of a nice build order, blind build order advantage there, going for the Raven to help deal with those DTs. However, these DTs are not going to be just walking up at the front. They're actually going to be dropped here by that War Prism. So there's going to be a couple of seconds where Dream is going to be kind of in chaotic mode, trying to deal with all these DTs harassing at the natural and at the main base. And we'll see how Dream deals with this. Currently, not a lot here. Oh, actually, does have a scan, but not a lot here to defend at the main base. So Some nice chunk of SCVs getting taken down. But oh, nice catch though with that Cyclone. Will take out that War Prism, so it kind of shuts down this harassment pretty much for good at this point. However, I think Classic, let's see here. Yeah, Classic, I think it should be quite satisfied. I mean, only 1 War Prism and 2 DTs going down for 15, well, actually 13 SCVs. Those two SCVs earlier got killed by those adepts. So, yeah, I am liking Classic's position thus far as we arrive at the 6-minute mark. More DTs going across the map to harass. Might not be the worst thing actually, as the Raven is kind of moving out on the middle of the map, so these DTs can kind of slide through. Oh, and actually another War Prism being made here. So this is going to be looking quite ugly here for our Red Terran, as his units are out and about in the middle of oh, actually, can he get it? Yes, he does. Okay, this is the little pick-off wins that Dream really needs, because he has suffered so much damage so far from these DTs that he really needs to kind of make it more even in terms of resources loss versus SCV's loss. So nice pick out there. We'll even up the resources loss tab a little bit. Now, of course, you did see in that resources loss tab that Classic did lose a little bit more. However, keep in mind that Classic does have 3 bases, while Dream is still stuck on 2 bases. So Dream, I still feel like he needs to do a little bit more, and he's quite far ahead, far behind on the workers count. So he really needs to make this push count. But with only 1 tank and only 1 Cyclone, I don't know if it's quite enough. I mean, Classic is doing some nice blink maneuver. Look at all those stalkers in red life. Now they're all in red life, but at the end of the day, they're still alive, and that's the most important thing. And with charge coming or completing very soon right now, I think Classic can actually clean up this force here by a Dream. This Immortal really needs to focus fire on this tank, and it does finally. However, more reinforcements coming through here for Dream. But is it enough to break Classic? I don't think so, because Classic does have that defensive advantage. He doesn't have a shield battery though at this 3rd base, which I would love to see him throw down. Maybe 2 or 1 at the very least shield batteries, because I'm sure that Dream will want to attack that 3rd base later on into the game. So having that shield battery really makes it easier to defend any harassment and attacks. But speaking of harassment and attacks, there's actually one at the main base, and Classic is completely gonna miss it. Okay, he does take out the Raven, so at the very least he don't have to worry about that. But the main base is still being under siege here, under fire. But with the rest of Classic forces coming back, he should be able to clean up and force Dream to retreat for the time being. But Classic, he's throwing down his 4th base, and only now is Dream about to finish his 3rd base. So the economy of Classic is gonna go a bit crazy very, very soon. Alright, looks like Dream is looking to make some magic happen with this Bioforce. I think I just missed DT harassment there, but does get cleaned up by the scan. But yeah, it looks like Classic is transitioning into High Templars with Storm. Storm is finished. However, where are those High Templars? Okay, there we are. Those are the 4 Templars that Classic really needs to help defend against his attack. Now, oh, actually catching Classic out of position. one of the things that Classic has suffered is poor vision and map awareness on this map thus far. He got punished a little there before with the 2 medevac drop. He didn't have any vision there onto the right side, and he didn't have any vision here on the left side as he didn't take the watchtower. So he is gonna kind of fight at a little bit of an awkward area here. Kind of a little bit of a wide open area, so it makes storming a bit harder because it allows Dream to kind of split his army as there are more surface area for him to split to. So Classic is gonna, oh, as I say that, there is a bunched up group there, and nice storm Classic forcing Dream to use up all those energy, those medevac energies. Alright, looks like Classic has had enough. He's going to feel confident enough to go right into the Bioforce. Those storms, though, doing some nice, decent job weakening these Marauders and Marines. Ghost enter the fray here, but is it going to be a little bit too late? Nice, decent EMP on that Immortal Clump. And one of the great things about Immortals are that they are so beefy, and it's majorly due to its shield. So removing those shields from the Immortals are really, really great thing for a Dream. But of course, as Protoss, you can replenish those shield, such as while a Reaper can replenish his life. Alright, a little bit of a skirmish here out in the middle. Some nice zoning by Dream though with those Widow Mines. So Classic being a little bit extra careful to engage. There are 2 straggling medevacs here that Classic can get on top of, but nice storm. Oh my god, look at all these medevacs. Gonna absolutely evaporate as these storms are just absolutely so beautiful. And now Dream is going to lose the rest of his army, and GG out. Classic takes game number 1.
Yeah, that last game was interesting because obviously the Raven and the Cyclone were already out, and despite those 2, essential Terran defense units being out and about, the DTs were still able to get so much damage done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 13 SCVs going down in that early stage of the game is not what you want to be at as a Terran, but also where you don't want to be at as a Terran is getting scouted by the probe here.
Right, yeah. Dream definitely not feeling too good about the start of this game, although that SCV, well, who knows? I feel like it has a chance to, okay, never mind. I thought, depending on the... Oh, cute. That's really cute. I like that. Nice.
Oh
Just making sure that the SCV can build for as long as possible. It will get taken down by the second probe, but a very cheeky kind of move. I like it a lot. Putting down the supply depot for additional cover.
Yeah, this is actually really, really horrible for Dream because, I mean, not only is he electing not to just cancel and make a new one, but it took him a little bit while for that second SCV to arrive, and so his barracks is going to be so late. He's going to be so behind.
Right. He already started one back at home simply because he needed to, floating minerals. Finally, after 2 SCVs going down, he gets the proxy barracks up and running. Looks like it will be a Reaper first, but already a Stalker is on the way. I don't think this Reaper is going to get too much done.
Oh no, by the time the Reaper arrives at the Protoss base, that Stalker is going to be out and about, so yeah, I don't see that Reaper getting too much damage done. I mean, he might get lucky with like maybe 1 probe, maybe 1 transferring probe somewhere, but yeah, I don't see this Reaper getting too much done.
Yep, Reaper tried to see what it could do on the high ground. Not quite able to find an opening. Stalker comes down to chase it. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a follow-up natural command center as well as a 3 racks opening for Dream. So, you know, take advantage of the resources that you already have. But yeah, this Reaper has timed life, basically. Although it is going to juke out the Adept for just a little bit. Wow.
Oh
Very good
my
Reaper
god.
micro. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, scratch what I said about timed life. That Reaper is going to live.
Yeah, I mean, the Reaper lives, but you know what? He didn't really scout too much. If you can see in his vision, he didn't scout the Stargate. Only scouted a Adept and a Stalker, which is kind of common nowadays. So nothing too out of the ordinary. So Dream does a nice job keeping his Reaper alive, but at the same time doesn't quite get the scouting information that he kind of needs right now.
You know, what isn't too common is a 6 racks opener
What?
against Protoss.
Oh
I
my
love
goodness.
this. I really like this because on the other side of the map, of course, we're seeing a Phoenix build up for Classic, but Phoenixes, you know, they're pretty good, right? But when you're fighting a bunch of Marines, they're not that good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most efficient thing to lift up the Marines. So maybe the Marauders, but yeah, certainly not the Marines.
I like this move a lot from Dream, right? It's like, hey, I floated minerals in the beginning, and that's what I'm never gonna do ever again for the rest of this game. I'm gonna be spending every single mineral I got.
You know what? I think when you're behind like that, I think it's not a bad call to just like YOLO it and just go for a super all in. I wouldn't be even surprised if you just pulled the boys for this attack.
Yeah, definitely. I do like this move by the Reaper to just go back in, you know, sacrifice the Reaper, get some pretty critical scout off, right? You see 4 Phoenixes, so it's pretty committed into air. You also see some Stalkers on the low ground. And, you know, if you have 6 barracks, 2 of which are producing Marauders, I think you're pretty happy. Not obviously the best position to be in. Actually, these Phoenixes are just going to come right in, pick off a few Marines. Very good value for Classic.
Yeah, you can kind of dwindle the amount of Marines. That is actually really huge because the big attack is coming very soon, and if you can kind of decrease the amount of forces, then it's always a good thing. He really needs to throw down like a bunch of shield batteries though, because this army is getting huge with those SSV boys being added as well.
You called it, Snoopy. The boys are being pulled. Looks like Classic is going to retreat all the way back home. No blink or any sort of deterred micro, but yeah, it is up to Classic to be able to hold off this first attack. Let's see how it goes. Okay, the SCVs are going to go straight for the natural. Looks like there is a sentry. Decent force field, but okay, the second force field is a lot better. Stim is popped. Phoenixes are going to come in and try to pick off the first Marauder. Not quite able to do so. These Marauders are actually doing a lot of work. SCVs are still alive in the front, taking some damage, but the rest of these Marines are still alive. I think that this might not be enough for Classic.
Yeah, I think a Dream might have done it. I mean, it's hard to say though, because these Marine and Marauders are stemmed pretty heavily, so as long as Classic kind of prolongs it, then he may be able to just clean up the rest with his additional weapons. We shall see. I think actually with this Disruptor, he might be able to... He needs to keep those Stalkers alive though. This is his only attacking units.
Yeah, this is a pretty critical defense for Classic, right? The game is going to end here one way or another. Looks like the Stalkers are going to go down. A couple more are trying to warp in. Shield batteries are doing their best to keep whatever they can alive and just stall out for that Colossus. Once that Colossus is out, the game becomes a lot easier for Classic. But yeah, Dream is not stopping anytime soon. Okay, that Disruptor is just barely not going to hit the Marines, but like you said, you know, you put in 4 stims into a Marine, it's going to be very low on health, but look at that. The Colossus is out and has a little bit of support, so this is going to get a little bit more difficult, although the Marauders are just going to gun it down. Excellent move by Dream, also catching out the Disruptor as well. Okay,
I think the steam might be running slow. I mean, running down really slow right now. But I mean, yeah, with the pros being pulled, I think we should be able to stabilize finally. The second Colossus is about to arrive as well, and that is pretty much it. Only 14 SCVs left. A couple of Marines here and there, but that Colossus big boy is gonna be able to clean up the rest.
Yeah, definitely. Classic was able to just barely outlast his opponent, closing out the series.